Mirage here, a map where on paper we are expecting more from Chaos, as we said before, and also one where it's worth noting Liquid did recently lose 16-7 to Evil Geniuses.
It presents some fascinating opportunities on this map, right? We obviously had the massively deflating round for Chaos with the TK that they basically just gave up and saved with 4. We kind of wonder what would have happened if that round had gone their way, or maybe if that Ninja defuse from Steel had gone their way. It felt like that map was one round away from potentially being an overtime game. Now we're going to get a bold play. It's everyone coming out of Palace, but they've overlooked Stewie. It doesn't matter. Stewie can't connect on the kill. This should be a bomb plant coming through here. That was 4 players out of Palace. Now just 1 coming ramp. Elysian spotted one out by the Ninja spot, but they're starting to pick apart this attack. Bomb needs to go down. It's stuck by Firebox. Late through Khan is Steel. Unfortunately, he's not ahead of the nade, and the nade has resulted in all of his team members dead. So now this late play not going to work out, and Steel's going to get caught with a bolt in the head. Now, in talking to MCE before this series, he said that they had a pistol round for Mirage. Their T-side pistol was going to make them either look like geniuses or idiots. Don't think it made them look like geniuses this time.
No, unfortunately, no. If they had got the win, yeah, that's clearly what they were going for. If you had got the win at that point, we would have been like, how the hell did they make that happen? But nah, not going to be happening. Not going to be working for them here, rather. And that's big for Liquid, because now they're able to try and get a bit of momentum back from what they actually were losing there towards the end of Inferno, because again, as we said, they were probably getting pretty worried at that point. They certainly showed a lot of confidence in that final round, just charging down mid, but to be able to actually get off to a good start here and hopefully this time overcome any sort of weaker investment, at least this time as well, it's actually no investment, it is just those Glocks being retained. 1 kill being found so far from Leaf, that's not too bad. They get 1 more frag here, taking 2 weapons out of the hands of the CTs, and that would be huge. But Naf, who was the one who was already tagged up at that point, just wasn't going to be showing himself again. It wasn't necessary. Lets his teammates deal with the threat, and at that point now, Team Liquid, they take the 2-0 lead. Grim, the only one who fell, he'll be actually dropped over the MP9. That allows for Elige to go straight to an M4, and with that, it gives them a slightly better investment in this round. But it's not like they've been able to actually build up that economy to give them a buy sufficiently in this next round. So there is still a good chance here for Chaos if they pick up this open and gun round to, with that, maybe get themselves another round pretty easily off the back of it. Oh, and look at the speed they're trying to bring it towards A with. Expecting the weaker weapons and maybe limited utility. There is plenty of nades in play for the CT side, and they actually dropped quite a few trying to delay that push, including flashes, and it successfully separated the T as Leafy went in through the smoke. His teammates are only now beginning to try and follow him up, and of course at that point, they're just not really giving themselves any chances for the trades. Only the 1 from Zeppa so far, and he's gone as well, so the big name's certainly being taken down already at this point. And with Steel so low, it really is all on vanity. He gives us 1, but it's not going to be clean either.
And look at the remaining health. The remaining health is so dangerous. Elige basically just played them like a fiddle in that round, and what he did is he also enabled Twist. Because every time it felt like they were going to clear Twist's position, Elige would poke back out and find somebody. Naf's just going to walk into the Palace and catch both. They were both in that angle, both coming to his position, and Naf just doesn't care. He's just going to take them out of play. So 3 players surviving. That's a phenomenal round for Liquid. And as you said before, their economy hadn't had a full chance to bloom, but now it will have. And they've thwarted that first buy without even a bomb plant. So Chaos going to be on the back foot here, going to be causing some major issues for them. Look, they went for a fast play on A, and the setup was perfect from Liquid. You have the player behind the default box, you have the player tucked under balcony, and Elige just plays the timings perfectly to keep Twist as sort of their ace in the hole later in. Then Twist gets a kill, and from that point, it's just about done. Seems like we are going to be having a technical issue come through here. It's been called not live in the chat. Everybody's hanging out in towards the spawn. Seems like we have a headset issue coming in here.
I will use this moment to fix the HUD.
There we go.
Because there is a random extra player on it. The HUD doesn't like me. Producing and casting at the same time, not always fun. You have to wait for the downtime, rather, to actually fix the issues.
It seems like this issue is going to be really quickly resolved, though. I'm already seeing that it's been resolved, and we're just waiting to play catch-up here, and there we go. So, Match Medic, round reset. This is possibly the quickest reset to a round I've ever seen. When the tech issue comes in, and I think we're good now. Now we've got a debate about which VoIP service is the best going on in chat. TeamSpeak, Discord, or Mumble.
Alright, we're good. All fixed.
They're discussing the VoIP meta here, Dean.
I can't see the chat, unfortunately. I know you NA guys just prefer Mumble, TeamSpeak, and Discord. Well, I guess TeamSpeak, at least when I initially started playing CS, was like the main thing in EU, and then you said Mumble.
Yeah.
But I guess Discord is probably used a lot.
I've never used
now.
Mumble.
No, you never used it? Okay.
I love Discord.
Oh.
I never used Mumble. TeamSpeak and Discord are the ones that I've used personally. Twist! 1 kill, but he gets overwhelmed. Elige, though, is there to bail him out. Elige is going to take 3. He's looking for 1 more with a sidearm now. That's a little bit too bold. Jonji might just have enough time to get a bomb plant. Oh my, but he spends precious moments getting the AK out. Now he's going to have to re-smoke. There's a player at his back and ticket, and he has no idea, so Stewie will get it. 3 big kills for Elige, just swinging that rifle left, right, and center on the site and collecting heads at every turn.
That was just insane control from Elige right there to get that triple spray down. As you said, tried to resort to the pistol, and he did eventually fall because of that after running out of bullets. So I think Chaos can actually still be pretty happy about the damage that they were able to get done. Again, taking out 2 rifles out of the hands of Liquid, rather, and now leaving it in a position where if they do lose this round, a couple players would have that money. But Liquid just don't care. They're continuing on with these confident plays, and it is Elige yet again to come through with the frags, taking 2. And initially, at least, everyone managed to escape up through Connector. Unfortunately, Naf, he did stick around, and with that, it ends up costing him his life. And now when you look at the fact that Grim and Elige are both low, you do have to be a bit worried, especially when Leaf has gotten himself window control.
Yeah, maybe a touch. Elige, oh, this fight could be everything. Nice shot for Leaf. Takes him out of play. Now they can wrap on towards this A bomb site and cause pressure, and that distracts them from Palace for just long enough for Steel to poke out and get another kill. So Twist, now when they take a booth, has to repeat Elige's performance, and he's out in the open. He will find the first, but traded immediately. Took a little bit too long to find that kill. He was blinded at the initial, and now a smoke covers off Stewie's angle. He's got the AWP. It's a 1v2, and it seems like he might just go the long way around. There's a rifle here if he wanted to swap for the rifle for the attempt, and he will indeed do so. That's the AK found. He'll come back down towards Connector. Leaf will be close by for that. The bomb is just now going down, so Stewie has plenty of time, if not the kit. Jonji wandering around out in the open. He will be exterminated, but does Stewie expect a player close up? Provided he reads this is over. Leaf's playing a bit of an off angle, and Leaf will come out on top for Chaos's first round.
Yeah, he makes it work. What a crazy round, though, that mid-aggression as well. As I had said, just the damage that they took. If Naf had been able to escape, if they could have just sat comfortably in the 5-on-3 at that point, despite having a Legion Grim load, and I think they would have been all good. But as soon as they lose Naf, as soon as that window control is taken by Leaf, it just turns the tides of the round, and he ends up being the one that ends it for them as well. So Chaos, welcome to the board. It was actually them, of course, who were able to get the 4-1 lead, though, initially back on Inferno. And we've seen how that went, at least on the first half for them. So we'll see if they can actually manage to work in from behind this time. And, oh, they're definitely trying to. But Stewie just about composed himself and got the op out. And with that, snatched away the life of Leaf. Steel, I believe, is pushed out ramp, so that's a little bit crazy. May not be expected, but look at this. There's a gap in the window smoke. Is anyone watching it? It may not even be needed, because apparently they're just going to walk straight up Connector. Stewie's already been dinked as well, so that's going to be dangerous once they push forward. But as I say that, Elige at least shuts down the ramp player, so now they can go ahead and fully focus on towards Connector and have a really strong crossfire. Sure, eventually Stewie will be taken down, but they've pretty much lost everything for it. Trying to take him out of that position has gone ahead and left Vanity alone, and oh, he just doesn't know that that player's up close. Grim from the kitchen door, a free backstab. Not quite literally, unfortunately didn't have the range for that, too far away, so he has to just take the M4 kill. But yeah, 5-1, a single round for Chaos. Immediately Liquid are able to return, and this is where it really does begin to get scary. A reminder for anyone who may just recently be joining us, Chaos, they did end up dropping that first map. We were hoping that their own map choice here of Mirage would fare better, but at least in the beginning, it's not going all that well.
It's early days, though. It's early days. A lot could change. One thing I will say is early on, Liquid is a much more dynamic defensive team here on Mirage than they were on Inferno. Inferno, they were pretty calm and patient. They were content to sit back. They'd try and go forward and get a pick, and if that didn't work out, they'd sort of sit in towards defaults, maybe shift some things around, but play a fairly stable game. This time, much more dynamic. They're going forward. They're finding those first kills. They're finding those first engagements. They're keeping Chaos off balance. This time, Chaos come to them, and oh my, it's a massacre. 3 players were ready and waiting, and not a one of them will die for Liquid as they just pick apart this attack onto the B bomb site. Liquid come out 6-1, 5 rounds up. An investment will come in here from Chaos, but they may not have the frills, having not gotten that bomb plant. They won't have the option for the AWP. It'll just be the rifles through here. Don't know if they want to play with that op, but it's going to be rifles that they stick to for the time being. And Chaos, they're starting to get into dangerous territory. You allow 5 players to make it through a round. This is where you really do away with your ability to cause an easy upset. You're going to make every round difficult, every round a battle. Molly in, a player forced out, but the smoke was good from Elige. It keeps the Molly from blooming. It allows him to escape back out Con without taking any punishment whatsoever.
But Naf is sticking around. Oh, nearly got the timing right there on a player peeking in from Delpan without his weapon out, but didn't matter in the end. There's just too many players to deal with. Jean-G ends up taking down Elige, but peeking back in from window, and once again, it is Stewie who just keeps on facing from this position, helped out by Twists elsewhere, who's actually gone ahead and doubled down as well. So it's all on Vanity. This round was looking so good for Chaos when they got those initial trades, but it's just the relentless confidence at this point for Team Liquid that seems too much for them to handle. There's one for Vanity. Catches Grim off guard on short. The back was completely exposed, so that gives him the bomb plant. There is already Stewie up on short, but being low health, he didn't want to move in quickly, so they do allow that bomb to be planted, and with that also give quite a bit of time for Vanity to actually position now up in the apartments, which is fantastic when you look at the fact that there's no nades at all for the CT side, and he himself, working with a Molotov and a couple of flashes, could waste some extra time from this spot.
This is very clutchable. This is very winnable. They're going to have to tap onto it, but it's Stewie who's got no health.
Oh.
But Twist just holds the angle. They were ready for it. They knew exactly where he was playing from, and they read him like a book. And Twist, when given the opportunity, will not miss that shot. So a winnable situation, completely dashed here for Chaos, and they might be kicking themselves for that one. They're sitting at that 7-1 scoreline. And this does seem to be a Liquid team that is bearing their fangs. Inferno, way too close for their comfort. They don't like that. They don't like the fact that it got so close. This time they want to put no doubt in our brains that they are the team that should be walking away from this series with the victory. They are bringing the hurt early and often to Chaos. Here we're going to see the alt play for the first time this map, I believe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're correct. We hadn't seen it before. And definitely not on the T side. They're still yet to pull it out, and I believe working with weaker weapons as well, just early on from the Liquid side because some of those cleaner rounds. So it wasn't really needed, but yeah, pulling it out now. Not going to be challenging too heavy around mid, though. Actually just pretty much giving it up after the initial nades go down by Chaos, so they will be allowed to get themselves a good bit of control, including initially creeping up towards short. But Stewie doesn't care. He comes back in, he takes that aggressive peek on the angle, manages to catch Vanity, and now Liquid can be much more comfortable with this passive approach that they're taking where they aren't actually challenged in mid. Oh, and
I do just want to correct myself. The op was definitely out earlier. Elige is about to lose his life because Stewie, as I recall, swapped to it for a clutch towards top mid. So my memory...
Basically. My bad.
I mean, I did first. My memory is that of a goldfish sometimes in these short-term scenarios. Naf holding a tight angle by the firebox. Steel is the player he's looking for, but his teammates are making their way out, and there's the molly into fire. So now they know Naf's here. The spam might be good, but they got to deal with Twist on ticket first, and he bails out. Nicely played from Twist. Get a kill, get out of there. Couldn't have gone better, and Leaf, he peeks to clear it, but he loses his life. That is bombed down, and he'll have to face off against an off to get it back, and Naf is still here. They never cleared him. Eventually, they get this kill as he just sat in the smoke for so very long, but they don't have a smoke to cover this off. Won't matter, though. Stewie's so bold, gets caught, comes down to the 1v1. Does not help here for Steel. He's got to take this fight, and as soon as he faces, Grim will punish. Op can be retrieved. Liquid, that was the closest round they've allowed in a long time, but they still seal the deal. They still take the dub.
Yeah, great work by Stewie. Despite missing that second shot, which looked like one he probably should have hit. I think the molly flame's kind of obstructing his vision a little bit. But that initial frag of dropping the bomb, as we pointed out, just forcing at that point Chaos to try and work back to take connector control. It just made it so difficult, and even Naf just staying alive for like probably 10 seconds more than he should have at that point, just ensuring that they had to keep their focus around that position for a while. So yeah, really well played by Liquid, as you said. Although it was one of the closer rounds, they still managed to pick it up, and they have a chance to try and make up for the fact that they lost so much in that previous one, which is kind of needed because they really don't have too much money. In theory, they're still in a position here where drop one round, and then at that point they could be looking at an eco on a couple players, and then suddenly Chaos could start building back up a few rounds here on the T side. So they certainly don't want to let that happen. Stewie, I think he's going to have an easy enough shot this time with the op. Indeed, despite being blinded, he got the vision just beforehand. And then Twist's playing from under the palace. They're going to be able to keep the range on the M4, and pretty straightforward right there. He is going to be connecting those shots. Jean-G eventually gets one. Nearly had the opportunity there as well to snatch away Elige, but it's not going to be allowed. And with that 9-1, this is getting just way too out of hand. Honestly, Chaos are looking for at least 5 rounds right now if they want to be in a position where they can believe in themselves, I would imagine, or at least where I can believe in them, then going over to their CT side. Because I would hope they believe in themselves at all times.
You'd hope they believe in themselves, but they've got to make us believe. They've got to make us believe. Right now, I was thinking about making a Tinkerbell is dying joke. You know, every time a kid stops believing in fairies, Tinkerbell starts to fade away, fairy loses its wings, whatever the exact line is. It seems like that might be the case right now. Chaos, their fairies might be losing some serious wings as the belief is starting to fade from us in the casting booth, likely from the audience as well, perhaps even from their own minds. But we'll see if they can restore the faith, if they can brook a renaissance, maybe a new chapter of sorts. It starts here. They've got the rifles. They've taken this mid control. But as we've seen before, Liquid are fine with giving them the mid control if they don't want to commit to it. And as soon as they do, as soon as they start to make that move on the site, that's where they get vaporized. But this time, it's going to be Grim. The new kid on the block is being given a lot of responsibility in this setup. He is the sole B anchor, and he is up forward. He's already found one. He's looking for more. He's going to use utility to secure his position. Smoke goes down, and now Grim can just fade away like a bad dream. There's nothing they can do about it. They really can't punish. Chasing through that smoke would be disastrous. And now he's got reinforcements as well in the form of NAF. So this could not have gone better for Grim and Liquid.
Oh.
Although now that one tap from Vanity straight down mid erases Stewie 2K, and suddenly questions are being asked. Mid retaken. Players moving back in. They'll boost a player up into the window to potentially take that off, at least take that ground. And now A-Site could be right for the taking as they can split it. Twist goes down. The player sandwich is good, though. It's Elige. Of course he's good. And now he can back out towards Ramp and Tetris, but Zeppa from on high lays him low, prevents him from escaping. And we'll line this up. The trades are still there. The bomb plant was denied. There's only 10 seconds left. Grim could shut this all down, but he has to make a move. Vanity will get the plant. Now time. No longer a burden. Grim gonna try and come over, but he has no idea Leaf is so close. He has no idea. Leaf plays it patient. Leaf makes it work. Another clutch for Leaf for their second round. Both of their 1 rounds have come down to Leaf securing the final kill, and he's been good so far.
Yeah, which is needed. We seen, of course, both Leaf and Zeppa have a very slow start back on Inferno, and they both did eventually pick it up. That needs to be said. That's how they were able to start clawing it back, and in the end only ended up dropping it 13 to 16. But they've had an even much slower starter on Mirage, so they're going to need a lot right now from Leaf, from Zeppa, and just from everyone if they want to make this comeback happen. As we had pointed out, though, Liquid really hadn't built up that great of an economy, so all of their money has gone back into a rebuy here. If Chaos get this round, at that point, likely looking at 4. But of course, maybe I jinx it just a little bit. Stewie, he catches Vanity there crossing at the top of mid, just about got the vision. But Elias trying to jump peek window gets absolutely wrecked. That's what caught him in the previous round, by the way, when he was jumping to toss the flash against the wall to get as much power on it as he could. It just about showed the top of his head. Of course, in this round,
I think at this point,
they've still got the advantage back.
They do. Yeah, it's Grim in the kitchen once again. I think at this point, he's signing a lease on that apartment because he has made it his home. And that is now the second round in recent memory where Chaos have tried to venture into a little bit of Amps control and just been completely denied by Grim with no ability to punish. He gets the kill, he backs right off. Everything is great in Casa del Grim. So they're going to come back up. They're going to come knocking on his door once again. Apparently, they haven't learned his lesson. They are persistent. Naf, though, has gotten rid of the stragglers, gotten rid of the hanger-on of Janji, and it's just Zeppa and Leaf now to attempt something magical. 45 seconds to go, a 2v4, and they're getting utility out as they cross around. Naf will find one that sets up Grim for the second, and he will take it. 10 rounds on the board for Team Liquid. Double digits, and they don't show signs of slowing down right now. Chaos have a decision to make about whether they're going to go for the force or the half buy here, because this half is already completely out of control. So the question is, do you risk it here and try and maybe bring some semblance of order back, get to those 5 rounds you were talking about earlier? And that seems to be the answer they've come up with. They cannot afford to let more opportunities slip them by, so they're going for the MAC-10s, they're going for a few rifles. Let's see if this can work. Presumably a fast play coming in here. Maybe they can punish in towards the apartments, cause some pain towards Grim, but Molly's will deny them that speed that they so crave.
The risk, the reward right now, both factors being very high in this buy. If they lose it, then they're in for a tough time to salvage the half at all. If they win it, then there is still some hope alive. So we'll see how this goes down. The issue is the initial nade damage was quite ridiculous, and as soon as they actually begin to start getting ready to go forward on B, they do get smoked off yet again, and they decide that they don't really want to go through it right now. So reconsidering at the moment the approach into this round, looking to move back and through the top of mid and through underpass, will be able to find themselves that control. And they've still well over a minute, so this actually doesn't work out too bad, especially considering they've also been able to run down a lot of those nades around the B apartment. So that would limit anything to hold it off if they do eventually hit back at B, and also limits nades for a retake if they end up taking the A-bomb site.
Oh, Leaf right now is making me very nervous. Grim's on the other side of this lip. There's a second player here to support as well. Whoever gets his first kill might determine the round, and it's Grim who comes out on top. He was patient, a fisherman waiting, and eventually gets a nibble at his line. There's a trade out towards the murder hole, though, and that op will be retrieved for steal, so a bit of an upgrade. They're a man down, but there's only one player towards the A side of the map. Unfortunately for them, that's not where they want to go. They want to go towards B. So Chaos, they're coming into heavy resistance. Snap will clean out the back lines, and Grim gets the remainder. A 3K for Grim in the round, an 11th round for Team Liquid, and serious punishment on the board for Chaos. Grim had a quiet Inferno, it must be said, but he is roaring to life here on Mirage. 15-4 right now to top the board for either squad.
They all are. That's the issue. I mean, he's on 15, but the disparity between the top and the bottom fragger is only 5 kills. That's Twists then down on 10. When Twists is your bottom fragger, you know you're good. They're just all doing their job. I mean, it really is being reflected by that scoreline. A pause in again from Chaos. This is only their second one, or is this their first? I believe second. But it says 3
I
or 4
believe
remaining.
first. We had technical
is it their first? Okay.
on the other.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
The previous were technical issues.
I'm surprised this is the first pause then. Down on 11-2 when they don't have enough for a full buy as well. Bit of a weird timing.
It felt like in a lot of the previous rounds, even when the scoreline was starting to get out of whack, it's like, okay, but only if we can do this in this round, suddenly it's back on the board. And when you get to 11-2, you kind of have to pause, take stock, and say, so this has gone poorly. Let's try and tack these last 2 rounds on and maybe give ourselves a chance in the second half. Just calm those columns down, clear it a little bit. Look at Elige going so bold into Palace. He's got both. He was practically inside of Vanity. He just doesn't care. Stewie and Twist shutting down the remainder. It's just Jonji. This round is not happening. Not today, not here, not now. 12 rounds for Liquid as we hit the last of the half. One final attempt for Chaos to try and get something on the board, to get something that works and not just get annihilated by the fury of Team Liquid.
That was just so weird around the Palace right there. As you said, they were basically inside each other during that fight. It's not an exchange that you see too often, and honestly is one where normally those pistols are going to have a bit of success, but no, wasn't allowed. Liquid, they cleaned up that round and are now already sitting with 12 here on the CT side, looking to end it on 13 if possible. Stewie misses the shot, tried to stick around on the 5-7, but is completely denied, and there we go with a pick elsewhere also being found by Steel in towards Palace. Suddenly Chaos have a fantastic position to at least try and salvage this third round. Vanity actually being forced forward there by the Molotov. Definitely could have went back, but he decided to take that control for them, and it works out quite well. If he had a fallen with no chance of a trade, then that would have been probably horrendous. But he gives them the room now to start moving forward. Twists in towards Tetris, trying to do what he can. He does some damage, but it's nowhere near enough, as now it's all on Grim.
Let's see if the Reaper can make a presence here. If he can manifest himself and find the 5 heads needed to secure this round. There's no risk. You might as well go for it. Roll the dice, and Grim's first test is going to be Vanity. But Vanity is low. A toe shot here might just do him. And he's going to be cleared, but Grim does the classic double take, not clearing quite deep enough, and Vanity will get the one tap to the dome that's needed to seal a round that seemed to be a sure thing. But it's still only 3 sure things for them. They had one good round. Every other round came down to a 1v1 clutch at the end of it. Right? So even the rounds they won were barely taken through. Team Liquid have been the dominant force here. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if they can carry even 60% of that force, of that fury into the second half, I think it's going to be a tough road for Chaos.
Yeah, we've got to remember that they did slow down back on Inferno, but that wasn't also a 13-2 half. It wasn't quite that one-sided, only being 10-5. So yeah, no, everything right now is just working against Chaos. It is looking quite bleak, quite grim, ironically, considering he's over on Liquid. But as always, guys, we do just have a few minutes here at the halftime. We decide to just talk through it rather than actually throwing it over to a break, just because it is such a short time that there's no real point for you guys to just look at a waiting screen for like 45 seconds by the time we actually get there. So me and Mike, we like to chat loads of nonsense sometimes. At least when it's this one-sided.
We do. Yeah. So the interesting thing here, the thing that I think is particularly dire for Chaos, is when I was talking to MCE before the game, the thing that he thought might be the difference maker for them was their T side on Mirage. They were changing up some things. They were going for some unorthodox plays, and it just hasn't worked out. Obviously, that pistol was the first signal that maybe things were going wrong. They tried something a bit cheeky, and it didn't work. And now they've tried a couple different things, and nothing has really consistently worked at all. Obviously, the scoreline tells the tale. It's hard to talk beyond that. So for Chaos, you better be hoping that Liquid have a heck of a second half collapse, and that this time it's even worse than it was on Inferno. And even then, I mean, they still sealed the deal, and you've got an even more dramatic deficit. So this is a moment where you need to dig deep into yourself and see if you got what it takes to make the finals here of ESL One Cologne. If you can make it to that big digital stage, if you can make your presence known. And right now, Chaos, it's not convincing. They've had some huge upsets lately, Dean. They in this event, you know, toppling teams, taking series over 100 Thieves, taking series over Furia. These are big scalps to take. But against Liquid, it just hasn't seemed possible.
No, and we wanted to be really optimistic. We wanted to be as optimistic as we possibly could. We were looking at it like, okay, yeah, they came back a bit on Inferno. Now they've warmed up. We were pointing out the fact that Liquid had recently lost this map, of course, to EG, losing to 16-7, I believe it was. So we were like, okay, yeah, Chaos, they can do this. But no, they've looked even flatter here on Mirage. Nothing to be taken away from Liquid, because they are playing fantastic. We do have to, of course, ensure that people recognize that, and I'm sure they do. Just looking at the scoreline being 12-3, even the rounds, as you said, that Chaos did win were much too close for their liking, so that they were always left in such a weak position without the economy, that they were just constantly, they'd get one sole round, then they'd be put back onto the pistols, and then just repeat. That's kind of what it was. We are getting back in, as you can hear from the many ticking noises in the chat. We can't see it, but we can still hear it. I don't think it's possible to turn that off. I'm sure Mike can tell us what they're talking about this time.
Leaf has said that he did medbay, which makes no sense to you because you haven't played Among Us yet. But
okay, yeah.
You should get Among Us, man. It's a good time.
So they're playing in the semi-finals of Cologne. They're still talking about that Among Us game. Awesome. How many messing?
I actually played an Among Us game with a few of these players the other day.
I'll pick it up and join you. Sounds interesting.
It's good fun. It's good fun. Let me just say, MCE is not only a genius coach, he's a pretty good Among Us player. Now we're going to be seeing the take up Cat. They're moving on in towards site. Jonji going to lob a nade, but most of the players were past it. Did some decent damage. Grim doesn't care what nades you throw his way. He is going to collect your dome, and now they've found ground on towards B. Everybody's here, though. Everybody's here, including Steel, actually on the site proper. Can he catch Nap before that bomb goes down? No, he's lost himself in the smoke, and he's not going to get away with it. The kills are coming in, but it's working out well for Liquid, and I think this is all over, and indeed it is. And with that pistol, Liquid may have just signed the death warrant for Chaos EC in this tournament.
That is so unfortunate. I ended up actually just kind of getting stuck on the edge of the metal right there. Shoots that, gives away his position, and at that point was just completely screwed up close against multiple Glocks. There really was nothing for Steel to do anymore, as you said, once he got lost in the smoke. 13-3. This is not what I was hoping for. We always want to see as competitive as possible of games, but yeah, Liquid right now, they're showing that they do deserve to move on. And we don't quite know who their opponent is going to be right now, but Evil Geniuses, they are up by one map currently over Furia. That's certainly worth noting. And I believe have won out the first half 9-6 as well.
I believe so. That sounds about right, which would be interesting. EG right now on a heater. An interesting rematch if it is Liquid to take it. If Chaos, 10 rounds down, mount a resurgence, then they would certainly have earned that playoff berth, that finals berth. We'll see if they can do it. Tough task for sure. Jonji up close with the deagle. He's connected on one. He's gotten the kill. It wasn't the Juan Dig, but he got it done. Unfortunately, he can't find more. It took a little bit too long to get that first initial kill. So the aggressive posturing gets them one may not be enough, and it seems like Liquid are grouping up for an eventual B hit based on the positioning of the bomb. They've taken this mid control, they're messing around in towards Con, seeing if they can't find anything more in terms of damage, but now the group up towards Cat comes in, and the split is on its way. Steel, with a scout in hand, is the bastion of defense for this squad. He's got to find him. Gets a tag on one, but he's out of position right now as they're coming out of the apps. He manages to secure his spot, And he does so much damage, but damage is not a kill. There's even a further scout tag. So 3 players are incredibly vulnerable at this point. The HE might actually find damage. It comes in, it finds one. There's Naf out of play. Now this is possible. Pistols out. And Grim and Twist say no. Not today. Not today. Grim with 4 kills, 21-5 now on the map, and he's looking to sail his way into the finals.
It does look like they are going to be reaching that point in such a convincing fashion. Another pause being called in for by Chaos, but it's getting a little bit late at this point, and they aren't going to be looking at a full buy. Will they force up and try and just start winning back now, or are they willing to take an eco and play for an overtime needing 12 rounds in a row? I don't know what the correct decision is. It depends really what they want to do right now. If they want to try and stop it before Team Liquid can actually get onto map and series point, or if they want to just get those guns out and see if they can start at that point clawing their way back in, which to be fair was working for them on Inferno for a while.
Yeah, it did work. Unfortunately, they just haven't had that initial round yet, and they don't have the cushion to get to it, right? So at this point, you're going to be allowing map point up, and then you're expecting to win 12 rounds in a row to take it to overtime. That seems like a far-flung possibility. They'll go for a bit of a nade stack in this round. Hey, why not? Throw a bit of a Hail Mary, so to speak. No one's there, so Hail Mary lands in the end zone with no one around to catch it from either side. And at this point, they've full stacked A. Meanwhile, Liquid are starting to poke towards the apartments, might find ground on towards B. And if they do, well, it's all over. They've got this courtyard controlled. They've got a player down underpass. If they don't feel any pressure whatsoever, maybe they just poke their toes into B to see what's going on and realize, hey, we can just secure map point like this. Oh, one player's been spotted. Steel might be punished, but Stewie's distracted from the window. This could get a bit risky. He's still doing damage, and he's now located multiple players, so that might be tipping off Liquid as to what's going on here. What kind of shenanigans are afoot? John G gets 1 kill, though, and maybe these shenanigans might have some success.
Yeah, that was despite him being mollied out of position right there. They're able to even retrieve the MAC-10. It was Steel who jumps out window to pick that up. So a little bit extra to work with. Unfortunately, at this point, making the incorrect decision. They've decided to initially stack those 3 players up towards B. They do actually begin to rotate pretty early, though, afterwards. And with Team Liquid taking their time, there will now be 4 players in position to try and hold this down. But it doesn't seem like it's really going to be much of a threat considering how little weaponry they have available. Elige, Naf, and Grim, they've combined for the kills so far, and it doesn't look like Leaf is going to be able to do much at all. As we expected on the eco, it does go the way of Liquid. It certainly got a little bit shaky there, as you said, when they started running into a bit of a stack on mid. Stewie nearly got caught off guard, but once he spotted more than 2 players at that point, just made the call for them to group back up and ensure that they took that A-bomb site together. And indeed, 15-3, as you had pointed out, and now needs to be 12 in a row from Chaos just to send it into an overtime, not even to get the victory. And then they also need to get the win in the overtime and then take it onto a third map and get the victory there. So, yeah, it's a very daunting task right now that Chaos are facing off against.
This is a Herculean labor to ask of them. We'll see if they can achieve it. Molly down, that might separate out a little bit of this attack, but no, they're just going straight through it. Full confidence, no fear. They're flying into the site. Steel does get 1, but he's lost John G in turn. And he's now mollied out. There's smokes, there's mollies, there's everything around him. Zeppa, though, is at his back, and Zeppa's doing the work. It's enough. They've got it. Chaos. Look, the journey of 1,000 miles, it starts with 1 single step. They've just taken this step. Still 11 more very large steps to take. But at least they can say they've gotten 1 round on defense here.
Yeah, I don't think that's what their goal would have been, rather, coming into this map. Definitely wanting a lot more than that. It's, I mean, it's a start. You have to look at it that way, but as we said, such a long road ahead of them right now. Vanity gives them the opening kill there, actually, with the Yop. Kind of surprised Naf just went straight in for that peek. I believe having a deagle to see if he can maybe actually get that opening pick. It doesn't work out, and at this point, with just a few pistols available for Liquid and the Kevlar, it seems like they're kind of just taking fights everywhere, trying to see if they can catch any of those Chaos players slightly out of position, but it's not happening. They all get cleaned up, not a single casualty from Chaos, despite a couple of those players actually being tagged down low. 15-5.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here to paint the way that Chaos get back into this. We saw this looseness creep in for Liquid at the end of the previous map. It's the classic curse. You get towards map point, you get towards 14, 15 rounds, and suddenly maybe your foot just edges off the gas pedal just that little bit. That lets Chaos start to catch up. Now, Do I think Team Liquid are going to allow 10 rounds of easing off the gas pedal? Probably not. But Chaos could start to make us believe, and they're going to be playing fearless right now because what do they have to lose? Well, the event, but in this instance, that's already seeming like a foregone conclusion. So they have nothing left to lose, and that does make a team somewhat dangerous. They go for aggressive mid play this time. No one dies as a result of it, but Liquid are pushed back, so they can't take that mid control. They don't know if someone's fast-catted. They don't know if someone's aggressive up by the boxes. There's a lot of things that could be going on here. What it is as a setup is you got Vanity watching down mid with the AWP, and then you've got Zeppa perched up to watch the underpass. And Elige, well, he's coming to the underpass. Zeppa could have this. There's no way Elige checks up straight up. Is there? No. He is dead. He is dropped. Nice kill and a follow-up as well as the setup works to perfection. And at this point, Liquid are now down 2 players, trying to retake some space. The one thing they have working in their favor is how far NAF has gotten forward on A.
Yeah, but it really shouldn't allow for them to do too much. The player in towards the steps there, being Vanity, doesn't really need to give too much away, especially now as he sees the smokes coming over. Having the 5-on-3 at this point, they can afford to just play for the retake. As I say that, though, they are taking fairly aggressive stances. He was able to actually find the initial kill there, but quickly traded back by Vanity. He even doubles down and just keeps on fragging. Naf falls to the op as well. That's 4 for Vanity in that round. Chris was able to open it up early on as well, as we see a 6th for Chaos. I don't know, it's kind of heartbreaking because we didn't see them start getting really anything really going back on Inferno until it was too late. And it's just hard to, at the moment, start believing that it's any different right now. But we'll see if they can keep it going once they start reaching double digits or so. That's normally when I start believing that it is possible. And this round, at least, should be pretty easy for them. Only a few upgraded pistols. Not even really any nades apart from a single flash being bought by Stewie. So there really shouldn't be much trouble for Chaos in this round. This is one that they likely should be aiming to take as cleanly as possible.
See, I choose to completely suspend my sense of disbelief and just go all in on this being an overtime game. That way I can be properly disappointed if it doesn't work out. 2 players down. Speaking of not working out, this setup has not worked out at all for Chaos. Sense of disbelief maybe returning to me. We've got some kills coming in. Here's the response. Steel wants to take some aggressive positioning in towards the apartments, and he's going to be able to be fair. There's a smoke that allows it. The question is, what can he do with this? Well, he can confirm that they're not going fast into B, which lets his 2 remaining teammates focus elsewhere. There are too many angles to watch. Zeppa, he wants to poke top mid, but there's a player coming out underpass, and the timing doesn't work, and he is exterminated. So now a 2v4, and what a way it would be to lose it with the pistols in hand. Vanity wants nothing to do with that. He's going to get the kills with the P250, but there's a player all the way around to take it. He has no idea. No. He still gets the kill. Vanity taking matters into his own hands. He wants to will them to victory, whether his teammates will come along with him or not, but now he's gone. It's Twist with no armor, 12 health, 2 kills, a deagle, and no control of the bomb. Certainly, Steel should be able to win this out, but he has to be able to figure out the positioning, has to be able to suss it out from Twist here, and in the meantime, Twist is going to get himself an AWP.
Oh, with the 12 health as well, that could be so useful. For now, though, just sticking to that deagle as he moves in. Expecting that corner certainly is a possible position for Steel to be positioned at, but he doesn't have the time to go and clear it out. He just has to take the bomb and with that try and move back towards the site, but doing so slowly it may leave him caught in the open. And indeed, just as he begun to move around the box, Steel gets vision and he won't be missing that shot. Oh, that is that round was just crazy, man. I don't even know what to say. The 2 kills through the smoke there from Vanity to start pulling it back for them. Then somehow Naf isn't able to hit the deagle shots. He gets a mad flick on Naf. And it comes down to such a crazy 1v1 as well. Chaos, sure, they've kept themselves alive for now, but considering what Liquid went into that round with, it shouldn't have gotten anywhere near that close.
We've now had, what, a 4K and a 3K in back-to-back rounds with Vanity. He's changing from Vanity. He's becoming the Manity. We'll see if that's enough. He's got to have a lot more juice in the tank to have any hope. Jonji's now out. Went for the aggressive play top mid, got caught in the smoke. He's exterminated. It was a risky play. It was a risky gambit. Okay, that's even better. Elige tapping through. Vanity traces the tracers. He finds their way back to the source, and he plugs that particular source right up with a shot from the op. Now, Chaos have evened up the numbers, and Vanity has a player isolated top mid. Grim could be vulnerable. There's no one here to support him. No one here to throw a flashbang or a smoke for him. He's got to do it himself. But he can just sit. He can wait. He can wait for his teammates to work through underpass. He can wait for them to find some positioning and bail him on out of here. And that's what he's going to do. And in the meantime, the op has left. So He's actually fine. He's been left alone to his own devices and towards mid. And it seems like those devices for Liquid are going to be centered around the A-bomb site.
Yeah, and with a smoke and I believe 2 flashes right there, they were actually able to pull 3 players over to B. As you said, pulling the op away from window and giving Grim some room now as well to potentially move back down towards connector, which likely is to be the goal considering the rest of his teammates are now ready for this A execute. And it's only 1 player in towards jungle. Leaf is going to be left alone to hold this one down with a single flash. So very likely at this point, try and maybe get a bit of damage into the smoke, but he just really needs to stay alive so that they're going to have the numbers for this retake.
He's found the gap, to be fair. But he knows that they know. There's a gap available, and they're not going to test him there. Vanity, though, gets another kill. This has been the story of the last few rounds, is Vanity dragging his team through victory. That's a nice catch for Leaf. He finds the timing onto Grim. Now they know they're relatively secure. The remaining 2 players are towards site. Twist, big kill, but can they trade him? They know he's stuck here towards Tetris. It doesn't matter if you know where Twist is. He's still going to kill you. Now both players are in this position, and time is whittling preciously low, but Naf eliminated Twist's position known. They should be able to get this, and it's Vanity to secure it. A defuse on another multi-kill round for Vanity to claw them back into this game. He's waited a while to show us what he could do, but now that he's revealing the potency of that op, it is something to behold.
Yeah, that's actually put him up now as the top fragger over on his team, and considering he had such a slow start, that's fantastic to see. As you said, these past 4 or 5 rounds from him have been insane, but he needs to keep that up. He needs the rest of his teammates as well to step up so that they can bring this back to an overtime. But slowly but surely, they are building it up, just as we seen on Inferno. Unfortunately, on Inferno, they did end up falling short in the end. Will we see any difference here is the question. Liquid with a pause, understandably wanting to have a bit of a chat before they buy up. And they will have enough to get everything they want pretty much, but a couple players being maybe slightly low, they want to decide exactly which utility they want to, which nades and such they want to pull out on towards Naf. I guess depending on what way they want to approach this round. And he just goes for a smoke and a flash. So yeah, nothing crazy, a pretty good buy overall for Liquid. As Chaos, can they keep this up? Vanity still rocking the op, of course. Plenty of nades for them as well. They aren't really lacking anything, and that's what you'd expect. They only need to keep enough money to be reinvesting in the current round all the time, because they lose one and it's over anyway.
I think it was also a great time to take a pause from the mental side of things, right? You've got Moses, the new coach. It's time for him to voice his opinion and be like, all right, guys, we were crushing them. We just need 1 more round. Don't let this slip away. And Naf is not going to be part of that 1 round. He's not going to be part of that solution. There's going to be a spam through, but there's a second kill for Leaf. He prevents them from dropping down onto his head. This is a very awkward duel, but it does at least last long enough that Leaf can get another kill. Problem is, his teammates couldn't do anything. So Leaf's found 3. That leaves Jonji and Vanity. Now, Vanity has been the clutch god, the multi-fragger in these last few rounds. They need another one out from him. Jonji misses his spray entirely. And that leaves everything up to Vanity. This time, even more pressure than the previous. The smokes will have faded on the bomb, and Vanity's going to go looking for this kill. Twist by the default box under the balcony. Vanity's not aware of it, and he's dead, and that's the game, folks. Twist secures it. Team Liquid win it 16-8. That pause